Hello, intermediate students. I'm going to talk to you about the intermediate syllabi and just some of the nuts and bolts of the class. I know this is a beginning painting, but I'm going to be referring to 25B, 26A, and 26B as intermediate students. And the syllabi are going to be the same for all the classes except for one section and course objectives. And they'll be a little bit different. And I'll explain where that happens. So this class takes place in fall 2020, and our course is going to have both synchronous and asynchronous components. So overall, the goal of the intermediate courses is for you to find your own personal approach to painting. So you're going to be trying out different methods of working to find the one that works best for you and to refine that method and develop it more. Now, each course does have some specific objectives. These are required by the school. And if you could please read through these. Okay, but overall, the goal of the intermediate courses is the same in terms of finding your own personal approach and having the freedom to choose your own projects. So class policies and information. So my email is dangulo7@mountsac.edu. However, I prefer that you first message me through Canvas, just because I'm trying to keep everything organized in that one spot. If you don't hear back from me in 48 hours, then please send me an email. Okay, and that's what I talk about right here. The class will meet 100% online, so there is no in-person component. So you don't have to go, to the school. Okay, and it's gonna have both synchronous and asynchronous components. So synchronous components is when we meet live. We meet at once. Asynchronous components is where you work on your own time as long as you turn things in by the posted deadlines. This course is going to have two main aspects. The first is you're going to have an individual check-in meeting with me, and you're going to have that every week that you don't have a group meeting. Okay, and you can check in via Canvas or via Zoom. So if you check in on Canvas, you're going to upload your in-progress or final paintings to Canvas, and you're going to write a little written description, okay? And I'm gonna write back to you on Canvas. Now, if you check in via Zoom, then you're still gonna upload your work to Canvas, but you're just gonna put in the description, meet via Zoom, and also if you could send me a message and we'll find a time to do that. And also if you could send me a message, maybe the day beforehand, and we could find a time to meet. Okay, and we're going to be doing the check-in by Saturday at noon. So Saturday is the day that, we're going to be checking in with me. Every other week, we're going to have a group meeting. Okay, and this is where we're going to come together and talk, and you're going to talk about each other's work. Okay, and that's going to be the 25B students, 26A students, and the 26B students. And I'm going to talk to you about moving the group meeting from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, just so that we can have more time to meet. And this will be done likely via Zoom. Okay, the meeting ID is 533-822-8382. Okay, unless otherwise noted. The frequency of the meetings may adjust towards the end of the semester, depending on the needs of the class. It may become every 3 weeks, the group meetings, or maybe once a month. Okay, class behavior standards. Really, the only rule is respect, okay? So it can become easy sometimes when we're working online to forget that there's another human on the other side of the plastic screen. So just remember there's always another human on the other side of the plastic screen, and they deserve respect. So, be polite, be honest, use proper grammar and spelling. School policies and important dates. Here's the drop dates. You could read these yourself. Just be sure if you do want to drop the class that you do it before one of these dates. So the final examination closer to the end of the semester, I'll talk to you more about that. So accessibility. If you do have accessibility needs, please send me an email, okay, or a Canvas message, and let me know so that I could help you. You also need to contact the Disabled Student Programs and Services office. Okay, and check in with them. Cheating and plagiarism. So, cheating does happen in art classes. Usually one student will make a project for another student. So you make sure you do all your own work. Plagiarism, make sure that you give credit where credit's due in your written work. Okay, make sure to cite people if you're using their words, and also be sure to put your other words in your own words. Project grading criteria. So in the introductory courses, usually there's a set series of projects. Oftentimes there's rubrics, and you get like a number grade for each assignment. This course isn't graded in the same way because everybody's gonna be working on their own projects in their own style, okay? And there's gonna be different amount of paintings for each person depending on the way they work, okay? And it's gonna be agreed upon between me and you. So some students may do 3, photorealistic paintings for the semester, okay? And that's fine. Other students may do a series of 10, medium to large scale expressionistic paintings. Okay, and that's okay as well. It really depends on the way you're working, the amount of time it takes, and those are things that we're going to talk about. And when I grade your work, I'm going to consider these 7 criteria. And the first is, what were the objectives of the assignment, and at what level did the student demonstrate their comprehension of the objectives? And if you're making your own projects, really your objectives are going to be the ones that you told me, okay? Like, this is what I'm trying to do. And then when you make it, like, okay, well, how successful were you in achieving what you wanted to do? 2, were the formal issues of the assignment fulfilled? Did the student exhibit understanding the principles and elements being utilized? So those are more about your use of color, line, shape, composition, etc. Was a piece turned in at the scheduled time? There's not necessarily hard deadlines for these projects, but if you're working on something for a whole semester that should have took 2 weeks, then that would be a problem. How much growth was exhibited in terms of the handling of the media? So growth is important. How are you developing throughout the semester? And sometimes students, they'll start off and try something out and it doesn't work out. That's okay. Then the next project they grow and you can see improvement. That's important. The artistic process is not necessarily a linear one. It could be up and down, okay? Is a student motivated to improve their abilities by independent research? Are you looking up artists I suggest? Are you looking at art on your own time, maybe online? Those things are important. Was a student involved in class discussions and critiques? Are you showing up to group critiques and sharing your work and talking about it? Are you talking about your peers' works? And did the student demonstrate greater awareness and appreciation of the arts? Okay, so these are the things I consider when looking at your work. And mid-semester, I'll give you, like an in-progress grade, a midterm grade, and you're always welcome to ask me, what your grade is and where your grade's at. But what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not a quantitative process in the same way that an introductory course is. And here's a series of, so here's the acrylic painting supplies. Now, since you're doing your own projects and you have a lot of freedom, not everybody's gonna be using the same supplies. So do realize that there is a supply shortage right now, and if there are supplies you're gonna use, then buy those as soon as possible. Okay, and here's some art supply stores. These ones are, closer to Mount Sac, and these are some online stores. I really like Blick, and I would recommend Blick.